And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
So the producer of Snow White, Disney producer Mark Platt, flew to New York City to meet with Rachel's team.
Rachel Zegler is having a full meltdown after Snow White flopped at the box office, but she shows no remorse at all, and what she did next will completely shock everyone watching closely.
Spend 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend. It was so delicious. The thing they spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live action Disney remakes that they've ever had, even the one that was their worst.
You would think, after the movie flopped harder than a failed TikTok trend, Rachel Zegler would be hiding in shame. Right? Nope. March 25th, 2025 will be remembered as the day she showed the world that delusion is a powerful drug, because instead of laying low and reflecting on the disaster, she walked into an empty theater. Yes, empty, as in completely silent, the kind of silence where Rachel showed up with a group of her friends all glammed up like she was walking the Oscars red carpet. And the most shocking part, she was not just there to watch the movie, she was there to celebrate it in a completely deserted theater with seats, begging for anyone to sit in them, and there she was, grinning for the camera, acting like she just dropped a box office hit. Oh, but it gets worse.
Wow, people love me.
Her friend Ella decided to take the cringe to the next level the moment Rachel's name flashed on the screen. She let out a dramatic scream, yes, a full-on concert-level scream like Rachel had just won an Oscar. And what did Rachel do? She awkwardly laughed and cheered for herself. Ma'am read the room. The movie bombed. Critics tore it to pieces, and yet there she was, basking in the non-existent glory of her box office disaster. At this point, people started wondering if the theater was rented because there is no way a real movie screening could be this empty. But these people had the audacity to march up to the Regal counter, proudly asking for 2 tickets, all while making. Sure, their little performance was caught on camera. The commitment to the delusion is impressive.
Please? For which movie?
And as if this entire mess was not enough, Rachel was seen holding a bouquet of flowers, a participation trophy if you will most likely handed to her by her equally delusional friends, as a consolation prize for starring in one of Disney's biggest box office disasters after the company poured a massive $250 million into making the film. Snow White officially joined the ranks of Disney's greatest flops, and instead of taking the loss gracefully, Rachel chose to...
Well, it's official. Snow White is officially ranked the worst movie of all time, reaching now a 1.8. People on the internet think, you know what, it should be even worse. And honestly, I don't disagree with them. These 7 CGI monstrosities. You're telling me, Disney, you could not find 7 actors to portray the iconic 7 dwarfs? For me, the fact that they literally took jobs for a role that is really hard for these kind of actors, that alone, this movie deserves all the hate. Honestly, Warwick Davis would have been a hilarious ass Grumpy.
Because what does every A-list actress do after their movie flops? They go on Instagram and make a bold statement, of course, and Rachel's statement was on another level of delusion. She claimed that even though people criticize her now, they will still be standing in line to watch her movies in the future. Babe, sweetheart, ma'am, your big moment was supposed to be this movie, and we all saw how that turned out. And let us be honest, people were not skipping this movie just because it looked bad. No. Rachel herself scared off audiences before they even had a chance to consider watching it. She basically sabotaged her own career before the movie even hit theaters. First, she went on a rant about how Prince Charming was getting cut from the story. And according to her, the whole idea of a prince saving a princess was weird. And you know what is actually weird? Trashing a beloved classic story that gave you the role in the first place and helped launch your career.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
But did she stop there? Of course not. She went even further and decided to go after Trump supporters, saying they would never know peace. Well, guess what? Now she is the one who does not know peace. Because the internet...
They didn't show up. Oh, because she also said if you voted for Donald Trump, then she wishes you no peace.
And it didn't stop there. She went on a full-blown social media tirade, dropping an F-bomb on both Trump and Elon Musk. Right after her preferred candidate lost the election, she attacked Twitter and Elon and finished with Donald Trump at this point. Disney executives were scrambling because let's be real when you're trying to sell a family-friendly movie. Having your lead actress pick fights with half of America is not a great look. Things got so bad that Disney had to step in with an emergency damage control plan.
So the producer of Snow White, Disney producer Mark Platt, flew to New York City to meet with Rachel's team. Please stop posting these things.
What did they do? They put a social media manager on babysitting duty to approve her posts before going live. That's right, Rachel lost her posting privileges, but by then the damage had already been done.
Versus Rachel Zegler, which was given a social media manager to just silence the critics out there.
Then came the Gallardo drama. Oh, you thought Rachel's mouth only got her in trouble with fans. Nope, it also landed her in hot water with her own co-star after filming Wrapped on March 20th, 2025. Rachel made sure to shower everyone with praise except Gallardo, and the internet noticed, was it an oversight? Absolutely not. It turns out Rachel had been making backhanded comments about Gal for months before that.
Hard to do what we do and to make movies, but I love it so much because I get to see you guys. And I'm really, really thankful that so many of you have been with us for 3 summers, and if you were here for 2 or just back for this one, you're part of such an important family to me.
The root of the drama politics, of course, Rachel made a public statement supporting Palestine while working alongside Gal Gadot, who hails from Israel. This sparked major backlash, with Disney scrambling to provide extra security for Gal because, at this point, no one knew what Rachel would do next. I mean, was this an activist campaign or a Disney movie?
After Rachel Zegler hit the stage at Disney's D23 fan event to introduce the first official trailer of Snow White, she thanked supporters effusively. In an X post 1 minute later, she added an afterthought in the same thread, quote, "And always remember, free Palestine."
After all the chaos, when the numbers finally came in, Disney's worst fears were confirmed. Snow White wasn't just a flop, it was an unprecedented disaster. People weren't just avoiding the movie, they were actively boycotting it.
So Disney's live-action Snow White premiered this weekend, and boy did it bomb. Worse than Dumbo.
With the writing on the wall, Disney decided to minimize the humiliation. The fanfare was drastically reduced. The premiere was toned down, and the European premiere was held in a random castle in northern Spain. People started asking, was this a strategy? To avoid backlash,
And a whopping $270 million on the film, the studio opted for a small LA premiere, held Saturday in the middle of the day with limited press.
One thing's for sure, Rachel Zegler's behind-the-scenes antics played a huge role in sinking this film, but here's the real question. How did Disney not see this coming? Because all the red flags were there at the end of the day. This isn't just a flop for Rachel, it's a historic loss for Disney, and while Snow White might have been an absolute disaster, another Hollywood scandal is already brewing. Ryan Reynolds and his wife Blake Lively are also facing a boycott from fans as they're getting exposed for false accusations of harassment. And as for Rachel, drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Disney cut ties with her if Rachel apologized? Would you accept?